Hi, this is a foreigner in the Philippines. Well, it's late night, nearly 10 o'clock. It's not late night for most people. But anyway, I thought I'd give you a little from a book that I talked about called The First 5 Pages. This is for people, not just for people who write, but for people who read. And for the people that read, you have no idea what goes into that. And at one time, this is how things have changed though with the computer. The computer has changed life for so many people that it's hard to understand, well, hard to appreciate just how much. And one of the entertainment industry, and into the entertainment industry we will also put the entertainment that one gets when they read a book. So how does a book arrive to be printed? Well, at one time, this book that I'm looking at now, The First 5 Pages, is a writer's guide to staying out of the rejection pile. And what used to happen is that you would create a manuscript, an MS, and you would send that manuscript in a yellow manila envelope, and you would have to follow certain unwritten rules. And the problem was that, as I said, they were unwritten, so a lot of the time you were just fumbling along in the dark, and the people who were editing, the people, not so much, well, the editors who were looking at your work, they actually don't see your work at first. This is the way that it used to be, and they don't see your work. A reader might see that. Now, the reader could be any age, any experience, but he would be there, and his job is to read all of these manuscripts. And I remember that one of the greatest writers that ever lived for me was John Steinbeck, and I read a great book of John Steinbeck in which it was called Journal of a Novel, and this explained how he wrote. And what he used to do was he used to have a large journal that kind of looked about like this size, which is, I think, what used to be called foolscap size. But it was in a journal, so it was in it had pages rather than the over-the-leaf things that this has, that I have. And he was he was very upset when he got this response back from a reader in one of the publishing companies, and what the reader said, it's too long. This is, I think this was East of Eden, which was written as Book 1 and Book 2. It is one of the greatest works of literary history, East of Eden, which is a wonderful book if you haven't read it. I know that there are others, and I'm just saying that this was one of my favorites. So he got this criticism from a reader who probably had never had anything published or sold or read even, and his criticism was, well, it's too long. Instead of doing a book 2, why didn't you just write 2 books? So John Steinbeck, here he is, this awesome literary giant, being criticized by this probably a young lad, metaphorically speaking. So here's this chapter 1 in this book. I just thought it was funny and worth talking about. It says presentation. So when you're about to, and by the way, this is how it used to be. It's not like this now, because now you can go on and you can put a book, as long as you know how to excuse me, as long as you know how to format it so that it will be accepted by Amazon, something that their computer can handle. There are various, there's Word, there's a program called Word, and another one which is called Office, and as long as you can formulate the thing so that the pages turn and it looks right, you can self-publish, or you can write your manuscript and then you can hire a editor who will knock it into shape for you and then load it, and you can sell it on Amazon. I have 3 books on Amazon of short story collections, so that tells you if I can do it, you can. So, presentation. Here's the first, actually it's actually page 21, but it's chapter 1, presentation. Don't try to contact an editor or agent before 12:30 and 3. They will be lunching with other editors or agents. Don't contact them before lunch, because they will be settling in for the day. Don't contact them before 3 and 4, because they will be recovering from lunch and returning calls from those who called during lunch. Don't call them after 5, as Hollywood is finally waking up about then, and they are also preparing to leave for the day. So, if you absolutely must call, then call at exactly 4:30. So, I thought that was pretty funny. Now, my experience as an artist, right? My experience as an artist was that there is this, by the way, that there about publishers, that was sending your manuscript in and trying to contact some publisher about your manuscript. Did you get the manuscript? Have you seen it? I mean, it probably is still propping up a filing cabinet, but you're eager to find out if they've read it. So, my experience in trying to sell my work was in actually trying to talk to someone who owned a art gallery. And I remember going in with a friend, a fellow artist, and we went into this gallery and we spoke to the young lady, who was obviously a sales assistant, and when we explained, we had our portfolio, we each had our portfolio, and we said, we'd like to, are you the owner? So she said, no, I'm not the owner. The owner, so I said, well, may we speak to the owner? And she said, what would that be about? And we explained, well, we're artists and we have examples of our work, and we'd like to talk to her about possibly exhibiting in your gallery. So the young woman excused herself and she went out, the back. Now, unfortunately, or fortunately, we could actually see the two of them. We could see the person we'd just spoken to, and we could also see the woman that we assumed, as she was actually talking to her now, and doing this and saying, well, it's like that. So we're watching this, and we're watching the face of the woman that is now being designated the owner. So we're looking at her, and the owner is getting very irritable, quite annoyed. Well, I can't possibly see them. I've got, and was getting annoyed because 2 artists are coming in to show their work. Now, I don't know what she was doing. Maybe she was arranging flowers or having a cigarette or something, but she didn't even come and talk to us. Now, even allowing for the fact that some of you out there will say, well, you didn't look like an artist, that's why, or, well, what do you expect if you go in looking like that in shorts? How do they know that I was in shorts? But anyway, they've made that judgment, so we'll say that I was in shorts and I look disgracefully unprofessional. Maybe I should have had paint on my face and be wearing a black beret and other things which we are so, and a smock, one of those blue denim smocks with splashes of paint on it, which showed that I'd been working. So maybe I didn't quite fit in the costume, and so that would be my fault, wouldn't it? But the woman refused to talk to us, not even to talk to us. And so we left, and we said, well, we'll never go back there again. Now, I had a similar situation where the man, this was on Ventura Boulevard, quite a nice gallery, and I went in, and the man is sitting behind a desk in an empty gallery, empty of people, paintings all around, different works of art, and I went in and I spoke to him, and he said, yeah, how can I help you? And then he spotted my portfolio. So I said, well, yes, I'm an artist, and I have a certain kind of work which I think perhaps might go quite well in your gallery. Well, it's not done like this. That's not how it's done. I'm sorry, what do you mean it's not? This is not how it's done. Well, you don't just walk into a gallery. Let me explain this to you, son. You don't just walk into a gallery and ask to see the gallery owner. I mean, he's trying to run a business. He can't take time off to talk to you. You're just the artist. I said, sir, am I not important? Am I not the producer here? Isn't that my role, that I'm producing artwork? And who's not to say that I might be the next Picasso? Who's not to say that my work might not be as brilliant as Van Gogh or Pissarro? Or he said, it's not the point. It's business. So I said, well, now that we're talking, we can just look at my. Why don't we just look at my portfolio? No, he said, I'm much too busy to do that. I am. No offence, but I'm trying to run a business here. And I left in confusion, and once again resolving never to go back there. Now, a little later, sometime later, I was privy to watching I listened to a CD that was a recording of a talk that had been given on one of these art cruises. So people were invited to go on a cruise, and they would combine pleasure with painting, and they would have painting by a coach, and they pay a fee, and an art teacher would come around, and they'd have sessions, and they'd do their painting, and then the teacher would come around and say, yes, well, the tree should be a bit taller, or it should be over there, not over here. You know, there's places where trees should be, you see, and if you haven't got them in the right place, well, it's not business, is it? So that's what this was about. But this particular recording was a talk that was given by an art gallery owner, and she echoed the same attitude as I'd heard when I went into that art gallery on Ventura Boulevard in LA, well, in the valley actually. She said, you can't just walk in with your work without an appointment, and you must find the man's number and call him up and make an appointment. Now, you can't just walk in. And somebody at the back said, well, I'm the artist, why would he not want to see me? It's a kind of a no-brainer, isn't it? A stupid question. Well, wouldn't he want to see me? Because I thought I was the artist. I thought I was quite important. Sir, please. And the art gallery owner said, no, this is not how we do it. We're trying to run a business. Oh God, I wish I'd been there to answer or to ask a few questions. But I wasn't. But that's the kind of attitude that is in this first 5 pages, which is about writing. And it is about worshipping the great God publisher. And that's how it used to be. Now what happened was that this got changed a lot when the internet came along, as did many things. Now the internet has changed everything. You can go online, you can put pictures of your family, and all you have to do is put the pictures of your family up, and then every one of your extended family can look at those pictures and say, oh, isn't that wonderful, and press like, and then you know that they've seen them and you've shared a little piece of your life. Or you can have a YouTube channel, which is what I have right now, and you can have people listen to you or not. Actually, I might be talking to a blank monitor here for all I know. But this is what changed when the internet came along, because now somebody, I think it was someone like Stephen King, who only had to go into a publisher and he would receive an advance of many thousands of dollars on his next book before he'd completed more than a synopsis or a chapter. So he decided that he was going to go straight into the internet, and he had an editor that he worked with. They produced the book, and he went into the internet and he did his thing, and he sold his book for just a few dollars. Now that must have seemed like insanity, because anybody who purchased a Stephen King book had probably been quite used to paying $15 for it, and here he could buy a book for Kindle and he would be able to read the same book on his computer for $2 or $3 or maybe $5. Not much at all. Now, was Stephen King only making a little? No, actually he was making a lot more, because even a top writer from a $15 book might actually only be earning maybe $2, I don't know, $3, or sometimes $1. But they sell 1 million, and that works out at a tidy figure. But now it's changed, and any writer can publish online and sell for $1. They can sell for 99 cents. And if you have people on your computer who are trying to get you to look at a book, and they've got it and they're giving it away for free, statistically, if a writer with an ebook gives away a book, it will widen its scope, it will widen its audience, and people who haven't bought it will step up and buy it where they might not have done if the book had never been given away. It's a funny thing to happen. But now it's possible for an unknown writer to earn $2 on a book, whereas he probably couldn't even have gotten it read. I've got friends who are incredibly talented and have their manuscripts that they've tried to get published by the normal, the traditional way, in book form, so that somebody takes home something that looks like this, and their manuscript comes back unopened, with a note actually scratched on it saying, we're not accepting manuscripts unless we've asked for them. What chance? So is it any wonder that the publishing company, as companies overall, have received quite a bloody nose about this? So that's what I wanted to talk about. The first 5 pages. This book is only for people who are seeking to have a book published by the traditional way, the publisher. So I just thought it was funny. That's the one that I read you, the Chinese rejection letter. Okay, so that was from the same book. Okay, thanks for looking in. Oh, I talked too much too much. This is a foreigner in the Philippines. Bye for now.